Good early evening and welcome everybody. And what can be described as just I don't know, it's kind of a benchmark moment here for cryptocurrency. And not just that, but I feel like for us as a community, just the way that we've approached this, the way we waited for our confirmation in the last 48 hours, it was like full steam ahead because it looked like we were getting ready for these inverse head and shoulders to start moving. And now it looks like we have some real momentum building here. Please make sure to hit that like button if you are watching. I would greatly appreciate it. Help me push through the analytics. It's very hard to push through them. Hopefully I'll get a nice viewing audience today of the locals that like to watch. This is the second time I've been on, so it's going to be even harder for this to push through. But Ben, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Mose here, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Nate the Great says it's about time vacation next week. Perfect timing. Yes, sir. I'm actually going on vacation next week, too. I'll still be on live here all the time. But on the 19th through the 22nd, I think we come back the 23rd. We're going somewhere with Julie's family. Her mom and sister and the nieces and nephews. And T and the girls to, I don't know, on some lake somewhere. A couple hours away, so that'll be nice. It's nice to be able to go somewhere when it's not just to do with my son's medical, so that should be nice. Jorge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor, along with Amanda O'Shea. And Jorge, thank you for being a very trusted mod. Hello, people. Hello, Tom. Is this alt season? Please, would be nice. Not yet, but we are starting to project in the right direction. This is something that's been brewing. We have these inverse head and shoulders built up. And that's why I was so comfortable saying to buy and to do this stuff the last couple of days, especially over the weekend when we started with a little bit of swing trading. But then Monday, it became apparent that these inverse right shoulders, it was just going to be very sporadic. So we just had to buy in it and sit until, we've been in XRP since 34 cents. And like XRP Healthcare since about 2 cents and a couple others. But like for the majority, we bought Algo. Less than 2 days ago. We bought IOTA, bought back into HBAR, Indata, ADA, and what other ones did we get? We got ADA, Alchemy Pay. I have Theta, but it's a leverage trade, but I'm not talking about that. But I have Theta. But right now we're cooking a little bit. XRP right now is doing exactly what we needed to do. And what ended up happening is we did break out. We back tested perfectly. Yes, we came down below the actual pattern breakout just for a second, but created the inverse head in this part of the pattern. Came back up, created a shoulder. Then when we broke out, what ends up happening here is you actually have a wider inverse head and shoulders here. It's just you imitated it on the shoulder, on this inverse right arm. You imitated it on the right arm, that whole inverse pattern. Broke out of the back test. And we formed this pattern. Now, if we go to the pattern in totality, this is what it looked like. We came out. Oh, actually, I already had it on. We came out. We needed to hold the uptrend that was set within of this pattern. And then we also fell back down to where the pattern breakout was, and we back tested. It came through with a wick and came right back above. And then we bounced off on the back test at $2.29. The significance of this is we have a technical target right now up to $2.65, we're calling it, because that's the next pivot layer. And that's where I think we're heading now. 242 was our first resistance here after getting out of the 230s. Then once you clear this and hold, then it'll be 252, and then you'll be up to 265. Once you break that, we can start really talking. We can really talk. And with Bitcoin, if you've been watching for the last couple of days, at least, even if you're new, we talked about on Monday when it was down to 107,000 and some change, that all of a sudden, where was this at? Daily Monday. I think it was right here. Yeah, right here. 107,700. We said what's going to end up happening here is this is actually a bullish continuation pattern, at least the short part of it. And we're going to end up at 108 and 113.6 before we end up having to make a real decision. And that still stands. 113,600 is that top resistance. If it breaks out of that, The immediate target would be 118. Now we do have that target of 118,000 with what we broke out of in this ascending formation. So that's why I expected it to come to 113.6. But the technical move here is 118.2. But the overall technical move is 122.1 out of the cup and handle. Now, if this breaks out and it gets out of that, what some might call a rising wedge, the first part of it, I disagree. I say it's more like an ascending triangle, which even the back part probably is. Those are bullish continuations. And if that's the case, we're going to have it move to 142,929. We've had it like this forever. It was just a question of, do we fall out and go to 91.9? Well, we got proper confirmation here the last couple of days. And that's why I've been very on point saying, hey, buy. This is what I'm doing. I've even done it to the point where I have people copy trading me, but at a 1x standpoint, it's just like a spot trade. But you can only find out about that in the Telegram. It's free. But it's just something we've done as a group. I'm very comfortable with the way I did it because I didn't give in the pressure of doing it X3, X5, X10, X20. I did it as spot positioning, and for that, we're going to win big. We already are. But it's just going to be, it's a big learning experience. Bitcoin, 111,390. We've now, you know, we're in not quite all-time highs. 111,894. I mean, we touched it, but now we want to break through. We want this little flag to play out. We want to go to 118. We don't want to get stuck inside of here and fall back down. This is where you could top out. This is where we want to get that a nice stiff move here. It's got a nice stiff move to 113,000 plus. But everybody, I know it could be a fake out. Trust me, I get it. But on these inverse head and shoulders, you play the pattern, not the potential of a fake out. So like I said, I'm not playing the short-term move. I'm playing this inverse head and shoulders to play out. So there's still some meat on the bone. And we can reevaluate after a 25-30% move like we talked about the other day. But I'm not going to not be part of the move. So we'll see. But Bitcoin to me definitely is going to come up to 113.6 probably. That's where it's going to do its next meeting point. So that's where I think we're at right now. I see a lot of questions. If you do appreciate what I do, consider joining Tom's Army. It's $9.99 a month. My support on YouTube is at an all-time low, believe it or not. Well, at least since 2023 as far as actual monetary support, which is fine because that's not why I do YouTube. But it is nice for the appreciation, especially with all the stuff I do on the side for all of you for no charge. Join Tom's Army. Pay it forward. You know, especially on days like today, it's $9.99. I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021, and I've never missed a day on YouTube. Or you can send a YouTube super chat, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Allow me to continue to work my craft. You know, allow me to work my craft. So, that would be something I would greatly appreciate. Other than that, I got a lot of people to say hi to, a lot. I would love to see more first month badges, and for that matter, more people in Tom's Army. Like, I would just love to see more support. In that regard. Flow Fuss, welcome in. Alt's moving with Bitcoin while Bitcoin dominance goes down. Is this the start of the end? We don't know. We don't know. We'll look into that very deeply, I promise. John Bugathorpe, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. My like button is not working either, Steven, so I understand. No big deal, my friend. No big deal. Appreciate you tuning in and being a part of Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor along with the Fine Group. Easy, welcome in. Do you think XRP will hit lows again? I would imagine, but we'll see when. We didn't fill out some of the gaps, but now we have to fill out some of these patterns that are setting up. So, you know, I think we just sit back and relax here, not overanalyze. Martin, good afternoon, good evening. Really appreciate you tuning in, my friend. Nick, welcome in on your lunch break, or your break at work. Maybe not lunch break, but a break nonetheless. I'm so glad to see you in here. Hopefully it's been not so bad of a day at work. JUK, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Easy, welcome in. Hello, my friend. Burn Everything, good evening. Marcus, Ringneck, the TX Papa, Texas Papa, welcome in. Morelli, good afternoon, good evening. Shane, welcome in. Thanks for all you do, Tom. Thanks. Have a nice position IOTA. Excellent. I have 30,000 IOTA myself. And right now IOTA's up 6% on the day, which I'm happy to see. I also have 30,000 H-bar. And Tanya will be happy about that. I'm sure she was when I said it yesterday. But now that's up 7% on the day. So, like, when you see me buying things, you know, it's because I have an instinct that, you know, it could be nearing that time. Prosperity Fund, welcome in. Is there a chance that XRP drops again, or is it up now? Always a chance. But right now we're breaking out, and now I would expect us to finish out at least a technical move. Now it could go up and down, left and right, but I expect us to finish that technical move for XRP to at least 261. It was, I think, 261 or 2. I like 265 because I think it would overreach, hit that pivot point. So 260 plus is where I think it's going to end up. And then if it can break past that, it's going to be very nice. We have a nice setup on this inverse head and shoulders that could bring us all-time highs and then more. Way more. If this panned out properly. Now, if we get quantitative easing, because the closer we get to August, guys, the better this is. Like, the fact we made it through the bear market or the bear winter, and then through the summer, that was horrible. Or actually, it was like more like the spring was bearish. You know, we had to have the springtime, we were just thawing out in the spring. We had a nice move, and then we kind of got deflated. But it's what needed to happen. We had a huge 50, 60, 70, 80% retracement in some cases. It's exactly what needed to happen. And for alts, this is fine. We're just looking for Bitcoin dominance to drop and give away. See how we came up? Now, if this is topping, see how hard this is reversing? If we can finally get a reversal and come below 63.9 now, game on. That would be game on. So it's possible that we're starting to reverse here in a very, very good way. XRP right now, I'm looking for a close at minimum over 234 because it went up to 242. Now it could come down. There's a micro resistance support level at 238. So actually, I'd probably prefer it over 238. So we could hunt that area. But this has been a spectacular move today in regards to we got out of the first layer for Bitcoin, and now we can specifically target 113.6 in my opinion. And then after that, we can go after the 118 plus, then 122 plus, and then 144. So that's what we're looking at. If we get above that and we hold, oh boy, my lord. Any way to know if 265 will come on a wick? There's no, John, it's impossible to know that. It's impossible to know that. It's impossible to even know if it's going to happen. But I would imagine, unless it flew through at the 275 or something crazy, that it's going to come up to 265, and it could come all the way down to 248, 252. I know there's a micro level at 257 area, so there's just no way of knowing. But the more volatility, the harder the retracement, more than likely. But right now we're doing what we need to do because we've been clearing out these levels for 6 months, so eventually this level is going to be defeated. And once it pushes past, there's not going to be a lot of sell pressure because people have been doing this for 6 months. That's why I thought this time getting through 229 today and settling, it was different. Because we're opening up the door. Now we're doing what we need to do. We didn't fly past 242. We actually came back to test 238 right after, which is very nice. Same with Bitcoin. It didn't fly past too far. It's clearing out the levels before. I know everybody wants it to go up a mile a minute, but this is I'm so happy right now coming on because this is exactly what I was hoping to see. Like, even better, XLM's up 10.68% on the day after a nice 5% plus move yesterday. We've got other ones that Theta's up 5%. Data's just about to start getting going, I feel like. And I feel like Data is working on a 60% plus move here, and it's just going to take patience. And I'm going to be patient. I have 252,000 data, and I'm not going nowhere with this 3,500 or whatever it was, 30-something hundred. I'm not going nowhere till it makes this move. Because I believe it's going to run all the way up to the 200-day at minimum in the daily. And I know we got a micro level here at about 7%. But I think even if we don't hit 60, we're going to at least hit 46. But I think it's going to go much farther. I think once this works itself out, I think we got a huge move. And I think if you were a fan of how MXC and ZBEC did its thing, remember I said I've been paying attention to data to do it next because it hasn't done any of it. ZBEC, we were actually right about saying that we probably should have bought it and we missed it because it missed out on our number by the smallest of margins. It was within the margin of error like we had said. And now it broke out, but I mean, this has huge potential. Even to get back to the top, you're talking about a 500% move. But that cup, there's 2 layers of it, but you got a couple hundred, 200 to 300% there. And when it happens, it's going to be beautiful. Filecoin up 5.25%. That was one that we've been debating on. We just didn't end up going with it. I couldn't get enough votes. I tried 7 different votes to get people to vote File, but it always ended up coming back. Alchemy Pay was one of them. And then a lot of people wanted ADA, so I ended up doing ADA, believe it or not, and we did it this morning. So anybody who was here, we have $2,500 as a group in ADA, so we're kind of seeing how this works, how it pans out. It was at like right about 60. It was either 59.99 or 60.00 or some crap. I think it was 60 when it filled, because it just crossed 60 cents. If you're wondering, for transparency. So this is on my phone. But yeah, this is up, I don't know, 3.5% since we bought it this morning. But it hadn't done the breakout in the golden cross in the 4 hourly, so I felt comfortable and compelled to buy it where it was at. So the way it's set up is something like that. So I'm happy about that. We'll see how this goes. And I'm not mad about it. I actually am thrilled to have ADA because we talked about it a few months ago to see how it pans out. The only thing that I feel like we're missing, or at least I'm missing, is Onyx Coin. Because I feel like it's got this weird inverse head and shoulder setup. It's just I've got too much capital explored around for the group and stuff. So until something changes, I'm kind of stuck with where I'm at right now because I don't want to do anything more than I have. It's just, if I was a betting man, I would say XCN is setting up for something stellar. But I don't know. Yeah, Bitcoin did hit a new all-time high for sure. It definitely did. So now we have to see how this clears out here. We got about 3 hours and 32 minutes until we get the flip of the clock. Good evening. 4:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So we had the FOMC minutes as well. So the FOMC minutes, where was this at? I wanted to read this. Add nothing to Fed Chair's post-FOMC comments. Many repeats of past comments. Bottom line, uncertainty means wait and see. And then it remained... So FOMC minutes, it remained appropriate to take a careful approach in adjusting monetary policy. So that's just some of the things that you can see. Nothing to the Fed post-FOMC things. So FOM minutes repeats inflation somewhat elevated but well down from peak. Repeats tariffs likely to boost prices. President Trump notifies Brazil it will have a 50% tariff rate pending further negotiations. So that's something else that's popped up. Anything else? Let's see. U.S. Treasury 10-year note auction. Non-dealer bids at 89%. 10-year note bid ratio, 2 points. All right, well, that's good enough. We don't want to go down the dark rabbit hole here. But yeah, so good stuff setting up in our risk assets today. Also, if you're part of the commodity side, a great bounce back day. In my opinion, a spectacular bounce back day because not only did we hold, but despite silver being down 1%, I'm telling you, the silver miners called bullshit on it all day today. Now, Dolly Varden was down 1.73, which I would expect out of the ones that get hit a little bit harder. That would be the one because it's more speculative. They just had new acquisitions. They've only been around since about 2011. So, you know, they get hit a little harder on the days. But Hecla was up 3.2%, the single biggest silver producer in the United States of America. So that's a big signal. Fortuna Silver Mines was up 4.63%. First Majestic Silver Corp was up 5.5%, a huge reversal. And then Pan America held serve up 0.87%. With silver down 1%, that's spectacular. B2 Gold was up 1.4%. Barrick Mining was up 0.82%. I actually added, I think $3,000 into it. Picked up about, I want to say about 137 shares. So just over $3,000 because it's just way too cheap. The fact it fell down from 22 back down under 21 because of yesterday, or from 20, it's too cheap. Anybody who knows anything about Barrick Gold, it's one of the world's largest gold producers outside of Newmont Mining, or at least metals producers in totality, and it's just way too cheap. If it goes down, it's too cheap. It's not even priced at $2,000 an ounce, you know, and I think that gold and silver, something big is developing. Something weird's going on here. So that's just that. If we have time, we'll go over that. But now let's get into XRP. I want to take a look because we've had this nice little stellar move here, but now we need to see if we're going to get some kind of follow through, because it certainly seems to me like this is just the beginning. The daily is going to look spectacular if it finishes like this. In the 4 hourly, we'll see. Definitely reversed a little bit here, especially in the 2 hourly. See how the volume looks in the 30. Yeah, just correcting phase. Had a big move up. And now we're going to see if we have that testicular fortitude to push out of here. Really, we shouldn't have a problem coming up to here at least. I think it was 245, 242 we came up to. Let's see. Because we started to build this resistance area. And then we could go like this. So, I mean, if we're looking to see a little bit lower. Because I don't think we would go way back down here. I think it would something like that probably. Because then it even emphasizes this push up here, and you got the resistance. Start from here, and then you got resistance, resistance, resistance. Didn't make it back up. Resistance made it over. Unless you go up a little bit higher. But then if you do, it's still going to have the same direction because it's just going to be angled a little bit. So it's still going to come through here. Yeah, that's fine. So that's where I would see probably, if we're going to back test, $2.35.53 or $2.35. So that's that 234 area for sure. For sure. But we're doing what we need to do. Even in the 4 hourlies up until this candle, you can see we had a growing 4 hour candle in volume. It's not the biggest, but from down here when we were having 3, 4, 1.9 million, at least on this one, before this we had 24.9. And now it very well, it could just be coming down to consolidate. You know, it just, that's what happens. You have moves up, you consolidate, and then we have to see if it's for real. Bitcoin came up to all-time highs, and now we're going to see if we should finish this move at least. Even if we consolidate some, we should finish the move to 113.6. That's where it looks like now. We have no way of knowing. Like, Trump just put on the tariff for Brazil now. So we don't have any way of knowing how that's going to be counterproductive. But that's things that we can't control. So, chance of fake out versus breakout, it's smaller because Ethereum went up 4.8%. If Ethereum wouldn't have made that move, I'd say probably likely. But look where Ethereum finds itself. The golden pocket, remember, is at 3,156 roughly. So I'd be stunned if it came back up here and didn't go to the golden pocket. So it still gives us meat on the bones. Is it a buy now for XRP? I said if you were buying XRP, if you didn't already hold it, 229 was the spot. Right here again, you're in no man's land. Because at least from 229, we knew we had to push to 242 at minimum. And that's what we've already done. But now, me personally, I'm not buying it at any of these levels. I bought it in the 30 cent range for a reason. And anywhere from here, it can be, no matter what you buy from here, even if we do make good gains, they can all be very tough. I just think there's better opportunities in XRP right here. AUB, thanks for being in time for 6+ months with XP Predictor. Says 113 seems reasonable. Still a lot of liquidity up there on the heat map. Yes, indeed. Good intel. And you're talking about Bitcoin. Good intel. Timo, welcome, and how this can be live. Bitcoin already did make all-time highs today. What do you mean? You know, after the price action moves, Timo, it often moves back down, so it's not at the all-time highs at the exact moment. That's how. If you're implying that this is recorded or something, imply it again. Or imply something else. Sky's the limit for ZBC, and it already came down to a perfect correction. And like I said, we're probably going to regret not buying it the other day. Because it was off by 0.0001 or whatever. Poppy Lou, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with Dusty House Crypto News. Lungs next, welcome in. Hola, amigo. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. Joseph Euler, thank you so much for not only being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor, but also for the $20 donation. Says, thank you, Tom, for all you do. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that pay it forward mentality. It means a lot. Prosperity Fund, thank you for the $2 donation. Says, is XRP and Bitcoin a fake out or buy now up to $3 XRP? It's impossible to tell you that much. I can tell you, like, the buy now was that break at 229 to try to ride at 261. Which I say 265 because you have that pivot layer, but that was the technical target. So if you're in it, you're technically, if you're not getting it, you know, freaked out or faked out, or if you don't think that this is going to come right back down and you're playing the potential move, you'd be playing this from 229 if you just bought in, or wherever you buy in, and you're trying to play it to at least 261, which I say 265, but 261 you just have to make sure because that was the technical draw. So that's the next technical move. I said 229 if you're going to buy, if you're not in was the time. Yesterday I kept saying it, and the day before, because that's the truth. That's the pivot point. If you're not in and you don't get in at 229, well, now you have to find another layer above. And now it's going to get tricky because it always comes back and hunts that area until it doesn't. And now it came down to 234, broke up to 242, then came to 236, I believe it was, or the micro level. And now we're trying to still cook here. So it's tough. Everybody always asks me after it pushes out. That's hard. That's why we were buying it before it pushed out. And yeah, I don't buy the bottom most times because I wait for some kind of validation. And we got proper validation well before this move today. So we were able to, hell, we even got validation on Magic, and anybody who bought it is up like fucking 50% in 2 days. Burn Everything says, I've been watching your army since November, and it's truly a great channel. Watching, learning, and becoming more internet friendly. Thanks, brother. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, that was one of my biggest things. I needed to be more, I guess internet friendly is the way to put it. Because it has to be more relatable to more people than just the ones who do it every single day, if that makes sense. Armand, welcome in from Holland. Doing good, my brother. I'm doing really, really well. I'm going to see how long I do the live here because this is my second live of the day. And if my son wants me to get off, I'll get off before an hour. We've been here about a half hour, so I'm blessed just to be back a second time today. Mr. Tolly, welcome in. Says, Tom and team, how we going? We're doing pretty good. And he says, Jorge's a legend. Indeed, he is. Well, Trump announced 50% tariff on Brazil. Back down. No, I think that's just the outlier. I think this is meant to move this way, and I think they did that on purpose because we actually had some bullish stuff that was said about crypto earlier today. And I think it's by design that they said that about Brazil, just to form some kind of continuation liquidity. I don't know. I'm not afraid by what they said about Brazil. Dan, welcome in. Shadow says summer cold sell-off could be on the horizon after the pump has overbought and recorrection 25% is always possible. It seems too early to be the main event. Nice to make cash with swing bag. Absolutely, I don't disagree with you. I still think when the time of the pumpkins come around, we'll probably have that correction. It's just going to be a matter of do we get the quantitative easing and the rate cuts here in the third quarter? If that happens, it's going to be good for risk assets, especially those rate cuts. Nick says, got to go. I'll catch you all later. And the rest of the live, take care, everybody. Nick, I'm glad you could be in here for the first half hour. I know you're working. Have a blessed, actually, that was 15 minutes ago. So I'm glad you were in here the first 15, 20 minutes. I really appreciate it. Let's see. McMichael, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Under for over 6 months of XP Predictor. Yeah, XLM's up close to about 10.38% on the day. It was up over 5% yesterday, too. So we've had a good 2 days here for XLM. I purchased that on BITUNIX. So if you go to the video description below and or pinned comments of this very live, and I'll show you exactly how to do that in the live. It was up over 5. You just go into here in the comments, and then you click on where it shows BITUNIX, and then it'll pop up, drop down, click on the BITUNIX link, and that's where I do it. It's worldwide, and you don't have to worry about all the extensive fees and things like that. And I do have a spot where you can, you know, copy what I do and things, but it's only 1x. So if you're looking for like the explosive crap, it's not going to happen. So anyhow, or you can go into my homepage on YouTube, and it's got links, BITUNIXCrypto.com, which that's for the Crypto Visa debit card. And that's why I have my CRO. I have like 40,000 or 30 or 40,000 tokens. That is for mostly the crypto debit card. So I can have the prepaid card and get all the, you know, the rewards and such. And then I also do the airdrops and stuff like that because I just put in what I need to. Then PayPal, Cash App, Venmo if you want to donate. L-Bank for like DGB, XRP Healthcare and things like that. Telegram right there is explosive. I would highly encourage everybody to get in there. But please, if you're not in BITUNIX yet, you are missing so much. So much. I know it's changed the world of so many in my audience. So many. UK Phil, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Need for Speed, welcome in. Mario Louise Willamies, what a name. Welcome in, and thank you so much for continuing to watch. You've been here for many years. I love it. H-bar up almost 7%. Excellent. Yes, it is, Mo. It's time. It's been down for a while. We've got a chance here for something, but we'll see if it's a fake out or not. You know, who knows? You know, but it is what it is. We got to see how it plays out. I do think IOTA is primed to move. I do. I think it's ready to break out of that golden cross that's not even fully set up yet. It's where XLM was at yesterday. Let's just put it that way. My friends, how are you? Oh, you're talking to Dennis Smith? Yes, I'm in data too, Jorge. Let's ride indeed. Poop Soup, welcome in. No Mercy, good evening. Should I buy another 50,000 XRP? I mean, you can do whatever you want. But if I had enough money to buy 50,000 XRP right now and I had a choice, I wouldn't buy XRP. If you gave me $120,000 and you said you got to buy one thing, I wouldn't buy XRP. I'm just telling you straight up. And then you're going to say, well, what would you buy? And I'm going to say, well, I'm not a financial advisor, so you may need to make that up yourself. Then you'd say, well, I'm strangling your arm here, sir. Then I would say, well, if I was a betting man, I just can't see myself buying XRP at $2.39 instead of XDC at 6.6 cents. It just, I couldn't do it. At least, or I would just split it up. But right now, I would tell you don't do anything. Because if this is a fake out pump, you already missed it from the bottom before the move yesterday. And then if it's just correction, how do you know where the correction's going to go? You know, you have to kind of micromanage this. If 238 holds on XRP, that's the next support structure. And then the next micro is 242 to 252 to 265. If you break 238, then to me, you have 234, 229 major pivot. And then you can say 224, 222, but that's just micro. But it's nice that we're holding like we are. You don't just want to see up with no back. You need to back up. Let's see. I think XDC is not behind anymore. We just so you understand, it's actually caught up, but it's actually for the next part of the move. It's already back tested and now it looks ready to surge again. So in comparison, see how XLM had it already broke out. Now yesterday when we had this down here, and the day before, it hadn't made that golden cross. Remember, we were front running it. It's the same thing we were doing with IOTA and Algo. See how it's just come over the 200? This is what XLM was doing yesterday and the day before. See, we haven't created the golden cross, so we're going to wait for that volatile spike, which will come. So that's what I'm saying. And we've got this entire move with the IOTA and Algo today, so I'm very happy about that. So, a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of stuff. Joey, thank you for the $5 donation and also being in Tom's arm for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Says, hi, Tom. Thanks for all your mind-blowing predictions. Can you go into DGB? Absolutely. And I said I would have bought DGB too, but I'm not doing it through the wallet, and I'd rather just do it on BITUNIX and not have to go to Albank to something else as well. So if DGB was on BITUNIX, I would have bought it.
Now where's the lid?
Because it looks like to me it's getting ready for an explosive. I really think it's going to. I think it's about to come up to 8.4. And it's behind as well. I think you're going to get that explosive move up to maybe even 0.009. But eventually it's going to come up and it's going to break out pretty big. So I think it's looking just fine. I think DGB's looking just fine. I'm not looking at take profit right now. I'm just looking to see if these golden or these inverse head and shoulders play out. So right now I have no take profit target on IOTA or Algo, any of them. I just want to see them play out maybe a couple days, you know, and it plays through. But we haven't even completed the golden cross right now for Algo and IOTA. You know, we're front running it right now. We're front running what we thought was the move. So I don't really like to look at it that way, but I suppose if you want to look at it that way, you can look at the 200 in the daily, which is near $20, and it's also the top of the wick before the drop. So, you know, probably there, but I'm not looking at this as a quick hit it, like a hit it and quit it kind of thing. I'm looking at it for when we get into the possibility that this plays these inverse head and shoulders out, the potential. And then if the pattern's meant to break down, it would probably do it after that. So, we'll see. I just felt like we were in a position where we could have a little bit of a run-up. So I got aggressive in the last couple of days. Very aggressive. I mean, everything we're seeing, too, is kind of speaking to that. So. But I want to go through, before I have to leave, I want to go through some of this news because my son's out here. You can hear him. It's my second live of the day. He's like, Dad, I mean, we've already heard this once this morning for almost an hour. What's going on?
Tommy.
So with the news, we have, let's see. I just want to make sure there's nothing I missed. Greece makes first crypto seizure after 1.5 billion buyback hack. I don't even care. Buyback hack. We already know that that was an inside job. Well, XRP at all new all highs as it participates in US. That's not going to be the reason why, but it will at some point. Japanese firm Remix Point secures 215 million funding to purchase 3,000 Bitcoin. Interesting. Japanese energy consulting firm Remix Point has raised approximately 31.5 billion yen, 215 million, through a financing round dedicated exclusively to Bitcoin investment. The company announced that its short-term objective is to acquire 3,000 Bitcoin, although this target may be adjusted based on Bitcoin's market price and Remix Point's stock performance. In a July 9 translated from Japanese Remix Point, explained, we have become even more convinced of Bitcoin's future, and this decision is a result of extensive discussions to enhance corporate values from a risk-return perspective, while also keeping future options open. This is out of the I told you. You'll know more and more it's a Ponzi scheme if more and more countries are putting up these companies that are probably getting paid by their and being, you know, artificially injected with their government's capital. You'll know. Because in order to keep the world's biggest Ponzi scheme ever going, you're going to have bigger and bigger entities. Isn't it amazing how you're seeing we're going to buy 3,000, 1,000, 6,000, 30,000 Bitcoin in all these entities now? Remix Point has been accumulating Bitcoin since September 24, establishing itself as a significant corporate holder in the cryptocurrency space. According to data, Remix Point ranks as the 30th publicly listed company by Bitcoin holdings with 1,051 Bitcoin, surpassing firms like Nanolabs and the Smarter Web Company at the time of writing. The company's commitment to Bitcoin was demonstrated earlier this year, where it approved a 1 billion or whatever 7 million Bitcoin purchase following a board resolution in May. Japan's Remix Point approves another 7 million Bitcoin purchase, raising total crypto holdings to 84 million. Beyond Bitcoin, Remix has expanded its digital asset holdings with Ethereum, Solana, and AVAX, which is Avalanche. So, I mean, that's just another company that is basically selling out their own company to buy Bitcoin. So, I mean, that's, it is what it is. That just continues to happen. It's a crazy thing. But, I mean, I'm not afraid. Dogecoin, yeah. Me and Julie have exposure to Doge. It just sits in her wallet. But I bought it back for around 5.4 cents. But she had it initially at 0.0000 whatever. It was like 5 zeros. So she was one of those, but she didn't have a lot in it, but it did turn into over $1,000. And then when I sold it at 50 something cents, I waited to buy it back, and it was at like 5.4, and I sent it to her finally. I think it was at 9 cents when I sent it to her, because that's when Robinhood Wallet allowed me to send it to them when they finally integrated it. But yeah, this should be another one it's just getting ready. Big all-time inverse head and shoulders. If Julie didn't have the exposure of the tokens, it's either 10 or 11,000. I can't remember now. I would have bought it myself. Just to be honest, I would have bought this myself. I don't know. I just think it's pretty fair where it's at right now. Eventually, it's going to have to make a move. It's close. It could very well be rounding. Like, that's what I mean. Like, Altseason could be getting ready. And then we might come way down after Altseason and fill some of these giant gaps. You don't know. But, you know, nothing's been confirmed or denied as of yet. Make XRP great again. Welcome in. Jay from Mix says, let's get pumpy indeed. I signed up for BITUNIX, sir. What should I buy now? I only have $200 to work with. Well, that's not what I do. I don't tell you what to buy. I tell you what I'm doing, and you can look. But I'm not a financial advisor, nor do I even get supported enough to pretend to be one. You know, if I was a financial advisor trying to give the advice and telling people how to get in and out, for what I make here, doing this on YouTube, I'd be one piss poor, you know, advisor that's truly unappreciated, if you want to put it in that standard. So, I don't get paid enough to do that. I'll just be honest. I don't get paid enough, nor do I have the credentials to do that, nor am I going to look to get sued down the road. But what I would look at, there's a couple that just haven't moved yet. They're just ones that I'm sitting in. I think Data has big potential. I think AMP, I think XCN have huge potential, and they haven't really done anything yet. I mean, there's a lot of them, but we're at these crossroads now. Like, is this the real rally? Is this where we get rejected hard? I mean, that's the kind of thing you're gonna have to use your own testicular fortitude and make a decision. But you can look at the ones that are kind of behind a little bit. Like Algo and IOTA are still behind, but yeah, they're up 7% for Algo and over 6.1% for IOTA today. So if you'd asked me that question yesterday, I would have even said XLM yesterday, but today's a little different. XDC just back tested, and it looks like it's getting ready for a nice surge. So you could very well play that angle, but we don't know if it's going to go up from here. You know, it looks like it. It looks like it. But you know, we don't know. John Sampson, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. Why can't I see the donate button? I don't know. Probably another way to shadow ban what I do. But I don't know. You're in Tom's Army for over 4 years, my friend. You've donated enough. I don't know why. Happens quite often where people can't see it.
Where do you find it?
Oh, you would see it right here. See. Oh, it says that to donate. Super chat stickers.
It looks like a money next to the smiley.
Yeah, it's the money next to the smiley sign face. But John Sampson knows how. He's been in here for a long time. He's donated lots of stuff.
For people that don't know.
Yeah, if you don't know, it's that dollar sign next to the smiley face. You click on that and it gives you the option. Well, not that anybody's probably going to use it, but Julia, make a point. I should probably show them. He's donated lots of stuff.
For people that don't.
Okay. So it's this little thing. See that little thing that's flashing? That's it. And then it'll pop up super stickers or super chat. So that's how you do it. Not necessary, but appreciated. But yeah, I mean, I think I've looked at everything I want to look at today. This is the second line. My son's patiently impatiently awaiting. But yeah, the next resistance is 242. We held 238 like a champ right now. But the actual technical move is 261 right now. But I still like 265 because that's the pivot layer.
Daddy, someone's trying to go outside again.
Outside?
You open the door.
Okay, well I guess I'll meet you outside. You're gonna do another balloon?
No.
We still have the ones out there that were left? Okay. So yeah, we're winding this down here. So, let's see. Better late than never. CJ2 Pilot, welcome in. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Daniel, H-bar looking solid. I think so too. About 30,000 H-bar. I think it's looking pretty solid. I don't know, John. Like, I'm not a fucking wizard, guys. I don't know if it's going to come on a wick, if it's going to come on... I don't know how it's going to come for XRP. I don't even know if it's going to come. That's just a technical move. It could come on a wick. It could come on a wick, but if I'm doing dark magic and I got a crystal ball in my hand, I really don't know if it's going to come on a wick or if it's going to come on... I don't think 265 is the end of the move, though. I just think that's the start of the breakout on the inverse right shoulder. So if it can get on top of it at any point, I still think we can make a run towards $3 here on this move. So we just have to wait and see. I don't know. I can only say I don't know because I don't know. If it comes on a quick wick and then it just falls out, it could be a problem. You know, we'd rather see it build into it with momentum. With H-bar, it just seemed like it was getting ready to round and push past 15.5 now. Back tested it. And now it hasn't even done the golden cross. It's getting close. Then you would expect a volatile break to 18.3. Or maybe even all the way up to 20 cents before we get that push back down. Before we push back down, you know. So it's very solid right now. And I'm not saying like push back down to the bottom. I'm saying just the retracements. But you're looking at a very well overextended bear market correction here for H-bar. Just overextended. And I haven't been this excited in a long time, and that's why I bought it again, because it looked like it was getting ready to round. So, John, if I had to guess with XRP, I would say it's probably not just going to be a wick where it hits it and quits it. But you're going to, no matter how it looks, it's, in the shorter candles, it might look like a wick. But right now, it's showing big inverse head and shoulders across the board. With a lot of optics in the news world, but the charts are showing something different right now. If that inverse right shoulder, and it's starting to pull up, if this plays out, we've got at least 1x potential on all of these from where we started. That pull up on the right arm. So I don't think we're close to being done. That's why I keep saying, like, I'm not looking for short targets here. Some say I'm manipulating the market. I can understand that because I was bearish, and it was going down. And then the moment I said that, I think it's going to start going up. What happened? So I guess with that being said, a lot of people requested this. We haven't done it in a few days, but I do have to go outside. Julie's out there, and you know she's got a bad ankle with my son, our son. But he wanted to play in the backyard, so I'm going to go out there after this. But ladies and gentlemen, I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Ladies and gentlemen, the sun. But first, Poop Soup. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. He says, keep up the great work, brother. I appreciate that, my friend, and I certainly will. I certainly will. But ladies and gentlemen, the sun. Sunny days are here again. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. Oh, sunny days. Oh, what a day. I wear glasses 'cause I can't see a motherfucking thing. Happy days. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. Oh, happy days. Oh, what a day. XRP will reign supreme. Let's just not get caught in the FUD. Oh, we're gonna crash and we did and we will and we won't and we can and we will and we won't and we may and we will and we do and we will and we won't and we rise and we fall and we rose and we can't and we can and we will and they say it never happened again, but it doesn't, it will and it won't and it can, oh yeah. Stay true, stay blessed, don't overthink, let the move play out. I think the traders right now are going to be hindered a little bit, but I think the ones who hold tight and play this through are the ones who are going to find some real success here and try not to get too caught up in the minute to minute, but more the formation by formation. And on the way out, holy shit. Bandito, thank you for supporting Sunny Days with that $49.99 donation. That is unbelievably generous. And also being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad. Bandito, thank you so much. Says, thanks for everything, Tom. You're greatly appreciated. Thanks for everything, Tom. You're greatly appreciated. And beyond that, don't forget to give thanks to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Remain vigilant, show integrity, show humbleness, and try to create abundance, not just for yourself, but for everybody else involved. That's the mission here that I leave you with. Be kind, courteous, and generous, and always give. I think giving is the way to go. No, I don't think I know. See how 666 is there for XDC? We're fighting evil all the time. Remember, when you're favored by God, you're favored by the devil.